Before you watch the video or skip to the next part, make sure that you stop. Why? Because I might save your money and time. We have Preference Prime subscription, which is like Netflix but for placement preparation, upskilling, coding, and certifications. It has more than 200 plus courses like AI, ML, data science, AWS cloud, full stack web development, CZ++, Java, Python, DSA, component coding, aptitude. Even has micro courses for companies like TCS Digital, Deloitte, ZS, Amazon, Cisco, Qualcomm, etc. So all problem solved just with one single subscription. And not just courses, just like a single subscription. We also have a Preference placement cell that has more than 400 plus hiring partners, and we actually do refer you in all of these companies once you complete our track of these weeks.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we are going to talk about TCS Digital coding questions. So basically, I'm going to solve some of the questions for you which have been asked in the previous year question papers. And also, we got a lot of requests from you on our previous video that we have put on Accenture saying that to cover the TCS Digital video. So also, let us know in the comment section of this video which companies are hiring in your college so that we can come up with the videos like this. So that will help you in order to crack this interview series. All right. So now in this one, we are going to talk about the TCS Digital. And apart from that, as you know, there are more than 30 plus companies are going to hire this placement season. So we are going to put all the content which is relevant to you and help you with respect to the referrals and the drives of this on our social media channels across Instagram, WhatsApp, Discord, LinkedIn, Telegram. So you make sure all the links are given in the description. So make sure you subscribe and follow to this channel so that you will get all the updates on the top of all the details. All right. And apart from that, as you know, always we give the top 3 commenters are going to get Preference Prime subscription for free of cost, and that's going to be applicable for this video as well. So make sure and go check and write the comments about the experiences that you're getting with respect to this kind of video that we are putting up on from the last month. So let us know that in the comment section. And without further ado, let's get started with the first question of the day that we have. Alright, so this is basically a question that you got and you will get a chance to write the code in terms of C++, Java or Python or any programming language that you're comfortable with. But in this video, I'm going to solve this first to help you understand how you can break down this question. Then we will write the approach we will see, and then I'm going to write the code and I'll explain you the code line by line. Alright, so here we have a question saying that Gary is a avid hiker and he tracks his hikes meticulously. So paying close attention to small details like topography during his last hike, he took precisely n steps. So basically he saves all, like he took his steps and he saves all the number of steps that he has taken. For every step he took, he noted if it was uphill, which is represented by U, or the downhill, which is represented by D. Steps, Gary's hike start and end at sea level, and each step up or down represents a 1 unit in a change in the altitude. Alright, so we define the following terms. So basically you have some more information regarding what is mountain and what is valley. So basically you can pause the video and you can read it out, but I'll let you know like what exactly it is. So as a mountain, so it's a sequence of consecutive steps above a sea level, starting with a step up from a sea level and ending with a step down to a sea level. Alright. So what is a valley that we have is a sequence of consecutive steps below sea level, starting with a step down and from a sea level and ending with a step up to the sea level. You will know why I'm emphasizing on mountain valley, because the question is expected you to calculate that only. So now further going with the question. So here we have given a Gary's sequence of up and down steps during his last hike. Find and print the number of valleys he walked through. So basically, whatever the hike that he has taken, so we have number of steps and we have the how to follow the sequence, like whether it is up and down. So depending on that, we have to track down and we have to print what is the number of valleys that he has covered during his entire trip. So for example, let's say you have this string and which is represent this first D represents 2 D's represent that he has taken downhill, the 2 steps down. Then he has taken uphill here with respect to U, and then again these are the downhill. So these are basically what how the input is going to be given to you, and it number of steps is going to be given to you, and based on that you have to write a code to identify the number of here. Basically, we have asked for the number of values only. So it might possible that in they can quick a question to count a number of mountains. So you have to change the logic in that terms. All right. So now, what is the question that we have? So we have given already a counting values function that you have to complete, and it must return an integer that denotes the number of valleys Gary has traversed. So what are the parameters that are passed to this function? One is n, which represents the number of steps Gary takes, and second value is a string which describes his path, like the path he has taken in order for those n number of steps. So here I have two examples. So let's first understand this. Let's break it down how the output as we are getting, and then we'll move to the code part. So basically, we have the first input where the number of steps is given as 8, and this is basically a string that we have. And depends on that, what basically we can do is we can plot it, and then we can figure out how many number of values that he has completed, and based on that, whether we'll verify if the given output as a sample output that given is correct or not. So what I'll do is I'll draw a line here. Let's say this line represents sea level, and because we know, as Agip mentioned in the question, Gary starts his hike from sea level and end at sea level. So somewhere, let's say this is our start point. All right, and let's say he starts the hike from this, and based on that, this is the string that we have, and in that string we'll follow whatever it is given. So what is U represents that we have here? It's represent a step up from a sea level. So what I'll do is I will mark it like this. So let's say this is the step up, and I will just plot here. So this is the step one that he has taken, and now let's second one, and I'm just untaking it so that we will complete the number of steps that we have. So second one is down. So let's suppose this is a step down, and here we have D, and we are again back to the sea level that we have, and one more step down here. So basically, I'm pointing this so that you can verify the string that you have. So given the string, and by reading all this from left to right. All right. So one more we have step down here. All right. So here I'm pointing here. So we have this D. And one is step up, so which will go like this. Then we have one more step down. So for example, let's plot it like this. And then we have two step ups. So this one will be 1, and this will be your second up. So basically, we are back, and as given in a question, we are back on again a sea level. So this can be your end point, right, where the trek has finished. So now, based on whatever he has traversed, and we have to tell what are the number of valleys that he has covered, right? So now, by the definition that given in the question, we know valley is something which is taking a step down from a sea level. So here we have, this is basically he was at a sea level, and he has taken a step down from the sea level to the taking a step up to the sea level. And between this, we have, like, basically he has done it only once throughout his entire journey, or that number of steps that we have. So that's why the output here we have, which is a 1. So from taking a step down from a sea level to taking the step up to the sea level, we have only one incidence which is occurred given the string that we have. So that's why the output that we have is a 1. So let's look at the another example as well. Here we have same number of steps, but the way he traversed is different. So this time we have different kind of steps that he has taken. So again, I'll plot this, and here we have a start point. All right, let's mark it as a start point. And first step that he has taken is down, and here I would say this, and then second is also down. So we have here this D, and the third is up. So let's point it out. That's up. Then one more up, and we are back at the sea level. So this is, as you know, is a sea level. All right, and now we have taken 2 steps up. Again, we have 2 steps up, right? So that's why we point it as 1, and this is just another. So now we have again 2 steps down. So which I will mark it as down, and let's say mark it as up. So and we are back at the sea level again. All right. So now we have some different travels route here. So compared to this previous one, the first one that we have here, we have a different one. So now let's understand, we need to again find the number of values that he has covered. So by the definition that we know, number of values, that is from this step to this, which he has completed only once. So this part we have, which is only one. So even though there is like mountainside, so this is he has gone step up and step down. So which is not in terms of the definition for the value. So let's say in an example, if it has like a number of mountains that he has covered or number of valleys both, then you can consider this and this, or even in this previous example, we can consider this and this as well, right? So since as we are just only expected to count this values, so how to do that? So what exactly we need? So we might need to define a variable for this sea level, which is will be initially will be 0, and we need to define one more variable for valley, which will be again black, and we know the condition. So when is a valley is completed? So basically valley is completed when the step we have is a up, and the level that we have is a sea level, right? So then only we have this as a he has completed. Even though let's say here we have one this example, right? So in this example, there was a 2-step down. There is one up step that we have taken, but this is not considered as a valley because this level that we have is not of the level of sea level, right? So there's a difference there. So here, but in this example, we have this is a step down and this is a step up that we have, and which is equal to the sea level. So you only consider the value where the step is u and the sea level that we have is this one. Let's say if we initially set this value as 0, and whatever the one step taken above the sea level, you can write a value at +1. Whatever the step taken below the sea level, we can give it as a -1. That 1 unit of change that we have, right? For each step, either it's going to be upside or downside. So based on that, we can set the value for the sea level. But here in this first example, this is not going to considered as a individual value. But here we have this condition where the step is up and we are reaching to the sea level. So that's why this is the condition to count the value. Alright, so this is what we need to have, and apart from that, we will consider each step. We will update the value of sea level. We will update the value of the valley, and at the end we have to just return the count, that total count that we have in terms of the variable that we have for the value. So that's it. So now, what exactly another thing that you need? We might need a loop to iterate over this complete string that we have got, and that's it. And we have to check some conditional values with if and else. So before watching, I'm going to solve this question, but I would recommend you to pause this video and try to solve this on your own as I've explained you the logic. Apart from that, let's get back to the VS Code, and where I'll explain what exactly the solution will look like. Alright, so here I hope that this screen is visible to you, or I'll just zoom a little bit. So as we have given this part, this counting value is given to you. So we have to define this variable sea level and value, which is we have initially set as 0, and this is taking which is n, which is your s. So I've defined it with respect to the variable. So n is the number of steps, and this we have like string we have as the traverse, the way he has traversed. So now we are going to iterate this over a for loop. So we are going to take this path, we are going to add this here, and we are going to check each step whether if it is uphill. So we are going to count or increment 1 into the sea level. So like I said, 1 unit change in terms of step 1 up or step down. Or let's say if that is not u, so it's going to be obviously d, because we have the string in terms of u and d only, right? So now then in that scenario, we are going to update the value with the -1. Alright. So now we have to check the condition for the value, which I've said if the step is up and the sea level is 0, or maybe we are taking a step up and we are reaching to the sea level, because reaching the sea level is nothing but the value where we have the 0 initially we have defined, then only we will update the value of the value. So that's it that we have, and once you iterate over all these values, So we will return this value at the end of the string that we have traversed, and this function will return that. So now you have to give the input for the steps, and it will take the input for the path as well. Then we will call the function, we will pass these two values n, and then we will pass the s, which will return the results. So this is basically what we have in a Python. So basically you can write the same code in C++ or Java as well. First I'll execute this. I will show you, let's verify if the answer that we have on the slide is going to be similar with this code or not. And also I'll show you the code for C++ as well. So basically I'll just show you the code. And to execute this, we have this value as, alright, so let's take this value and let's run. So here we have to enter the number of steps, which is 8. Enter the path, so we have to enter the string. So what we have here, alright, so basically dt and 4 times and this 2 times, and then I'll enter. So here we have the output as 1. So alright, so basically you have to already take one by one the value. So you will update the C level or the value depending on whatever the condition it is satisfying in terms of this loop, and then we will return the value. Alright, so this is basically what the output or the code looks like in the Python. So I'll pause the video and read it out and check the code. But apart from that, I will show you the code for C++ as well. The logic is going to be same. We are going to use the for loop, and we are going to take the input from the user in terms of taking the number of steps and the what path that it has traversed. So this is how the C++ code looks like. So we have the same. Similarly, we have defined the variables. Here we have the for loop, and then we are writing these conditionals in terms of updating and writing the units of change in terms of the steps or the altitude that we have given. All right, and here we are getting from main function. You are taking the user input from the user, and you are returning this values. So after calling this counting values function, right? So this is what I have given the solution for Python as well as C++. So you as you have understood the logic, as you have understood the code, I want you to write the code in the Java and let me know that in the comment section. All right, so that's it. So basically, that's what we have for the first question, and then we'll move on to the second question. All right. All right, so that's it for the question one that we have. And now if you want to practice more questions like this, so I have a platform where you can visit prepinstart.com and search for TCS Digital coding questions. So the link is actually given in the description, so you can check it from there. So I'll just quickly show you what kind of question that you will get here. So here you will find this kind of coding questions along with the solutions in C++ and Java and other programming language wherever it is applicable. So now, in order to practice this kind of question, you can go visit this page. So these are all freely available for you. You can pick the question and you can start solving on your own, and then only verify the video or verify your solution from this page. Apart from that, then there will be no use if you are just copy pasting this code from here. So basically, you can you'll get a lot of questions on this page, and you can access that. So now, for the people who are completely beginner, and if you want to understand, since you are not going to sit for only one placement, so I'll tell you about the Prepinsta Prime subscription as well. So where you'll get a 200 plus courses in one subscription to get prepared for all kind of placement that you're going to set this placement season. So for example, let's say to write the code for in terms of what the first question and the second question that we're going to solve. So you basically need to answer any technical question or any coding round with respect to any company. You need to one programming language. Either you can pick C++, Java, or Python, whichever you are comfortable with. And once you've done with this one programming language, I recommend you to go with basic coding, intermediate coding, and competitive coding round that courses that we have. And once you go with that, so you will be able to understand the questions, and you will write a lot of you will be able to solve a lot of questions which are asked in the interview. All right. So now, and not just that, I would also recommend you to go with our data structures courses as well. Let's say if you pick up C++ as your programming language to learn, so go through the C++ in data structures, so learn the data structures in C++ as well. And this is not just going to help you with learning the courses as well. So we have company specific tracks. So as you can see, if you're going to sit for the TCS Digital, so you might want to learn a lot about this. So all right, so here we have basically for TCS Digital, you can here scroll So we have a separate track for TCS Digital, and not just TCS Digital. As you can see, the list is we have a lot of different companies here. We have multiple companies, so which will help you in terms of what exactly it is, how the process is going to be, what are the different rounds, and for each round you will get a dedicated resources on this. So, and you have also an interview preparation track, so where you will get all the interview preparation related with respect to each company. So all in all, so I know you are going to get check out this on your own as well. So if you need any kind of a help with respect to the subscription, here the number is given, so you can reach out to them. A customer executive will help you in terms of what exactly is good fit for you, and they will help you out throughout your preparation plan. All right, so that's it for this. So go all the links for this. Prepinsta.com and Prepinsta Prime are given in the description. So go check out these links from the description. And now let's get back to the question 2 that we have. All right, so here we have a question 2. Now let's look at the question. Let's break it down, and then we will try to answer this in a coding term. All right. So now, what is the question that we have is like John Watson knows of an operation called, which is called as right circular rotation on an array. All right. So now, of given an integers, we have one rotation operation moves the last array element to the first position. So whenever we perform one rotation, whatever the last element array that we have, which get moved to the first position and shift all remaining elements to the right. So what is mean by the right circular rotation? So if you have array, so if you are coming from the Python background, we can call it as a list. So we have to pick the last. So what is mean by the one right circular rotation is that the last element of an array will get moved to the first position, and then remaining we will shift to the right. To test Sherlock's ability, Watson provides Sherlock with an array of integer. Okay, so we have all this question. So you can just pause the video and read. So for each array, perform several right circular rotations and return the value of the element at a given index. So basically, we have to perform this right circular rotation multiple times. And after performing that, we have an end result of an array. So with different position of the values. And we have given an index, or like we have given some index values, and we have to return what will be the value after performing this n number of rotations at that index positions. Correct. So I have some some examples. So first, solve these examples, and then we will go to the code part. All right. So here we have the sample inputs. So the first array that we have is 3, 4, 5. The number of rotation that we have to perform is k is given as 2, and once you perform these 2 rotations, these are the index values, and this index is what will be the values from this list we have to give. So first I will take this one. So here we have 3, then 4 and 5. So this is what the list that we have, and what is mean by performing one right circular rotation as whatever the element at the last, we are going to shift it to the first, and these two we have to move right. So that's the operation that we have. So now for this, all right, so I'll write it this way: 3, 4, 5. So let's know this. We have in a list or in array, we have indexing which starts with 0, 1, and 2. So since we do not know how the length might differ, right? So always it's not recommended. So since here in another example we have with a different length, the value with a different length. So now how to identify the last element? So as you know, in Python we have negative indexing as well. So you can pick -1, -2, and -3. These are the indexes with respect to the negative indexing. So -1 is always going to be the last element of the list, as we have like 0 is going to be the first element on the list. So what we have to do is we have to pick the value at the -1 index and put that at the 0th index. So that's why on a first iteration, so let's say if k equal to 1, and I'm just saying that we have to perform this twice. So when k equal to 1, our list will become 5. So we have picked the value from minus index from a list that we have added to the first index, which is at the 0th index, first of the list. Then remaining these values, we have to just push to the right. Then it will become 3, 4. All right. So when we have a k as a 1. So for the second iteration, so once you are done with that, so this will be the output after performing one rotation. In a second rotation, we are going to pick this element. We have this 4. we are going to push it as the first element of the list, and then we will push this two values to the right. So now at the second iteration, it will become 4, comma, we have 5, comma, 3. So this is what the resultant output or the value that we have after performing two iterations. Like after performing two rotations, this is what we have. So for this index, we have 0, 1, and 2, and negative index in that, right? From this list, we have to return the values at the index 1 and 2. So what are those values? We have 5 and 3, which is what we are getting as output. So that's it. So I hope you understood, but still let's look at the second example that we have here. So for the second example, let's say we have this list as 7, 9, then we have 4, 3, and 2. I'll write it without the comma. You understood it, right? So we have the index here again 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 as an index. So we have minus index here. So we have to perform the rotation 3 times, and we have to pick the values after the third rotation or third right circular operation that we are going to do. We have to return the values at the index 0 and 3. So what will be the output when we perform the first one value here? So this 2 will be at the 0th position. So we will write 2 as beginning. Then it's going to be 7, then 9, then 4, and 3. So this is when the k value will be 1. So for the first iteration. Then secondly, for the second iteration, now this value will become at the beginning. So 3, 2, then 7, then your 9 and 4. So we have completed the 2 iterations. So now we have to perform the third iteration 3 times, and then this will become 4, 3, 2, and then we have 7 and 9. So which will your third. So this is the resultant that we are looking for after performing the rotations for 3 times. And now we have to pick the value. So this is the 0th index that you have, 4, and we have, let's say, 0, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So, and this is the value that we have to return. So the 4 and 7 will be your output. So I hope you understood. This is just basically you need to understand how to perform, how to pick the values from the list. So once you understand, like I said, the length of the list might vary. So if you're saying you're going to pick the last value, so always using the negative indexing is simple, because we know that it's going to already pick like no matter what the length of the list, so it will pick the last element, right? So this is what we have to do. Now let's convert this into a code. So let's jump into the VS Code for that. Alright, so here we have, so basically to give you an idea, if you have to solve this in Python, so we can do this very short, like compared to as this code you are looking. So apart from that, we can solve it in a very simple way just by using these two methods like pop and append. By considering that, so you're not everyone is going to use Python to solve this kind of a question. I wanted to write this solution from the scratch using the loops only, so that you can easily convert this code into other programming language. But I want you to write or solve the same code with respect to using this pop method and append method. If you're from a Python background, then it will be easier for you to understand and use these methods. So probably here, let's say this has taken 10 to 15 lines, so you can write hardly the same code in 5 to 6 lines. So, but since we are going to use different programming languages, so it will be better if you write that completely from the scratch. So here we have a function which is like right circular rotation, which is going to take a value of an array, the initial array. This k value is nothing but the number of rotation, and this indices are the index value that we are going to provide, right? So now here for the nth, we are going to calculate the length of an array. All right, so this is what we have, and we have written a function to perform one right circular operation. So here we have a function that is going to take the array as an input. Then, like I said, that minus one index of the array, we will mark it as variable as last element. Then once you pick, let's say we have the example as 4, 3, and 5. So this minus 1 is become with 5. We will mark it as last element. and we will store that into this variable and remain these values. This 4 and 3, we will first right shift it to, we will like shift that to the right, and after that, we will add this last element at the index position 0. So basically using this for loop, we are going to iterate over. So what is the value of this n minus 1 that we have is how many number of values that we have, which it will be 2 to 0 and step minus 1. So in a range, you can pass the values from like up to 3 parameters, right? So this will start iterate from this 2 and till this 0, and it is going to take the step as minus 1. So it is going to read in a reverse order. In a positive indexing, we have the value as 0, 1 and 2, right? So it will read this first, and then it will mark the value of array of I index. So I value what we have is initially 2, and then this will push this values 2 and 3 to the right. And after that, once you're done, all the values are set. We are going to keep this last element, update this value to the array of 0. So on this position here, so after the first iteration, it will become 5, 4, 3, something like that. So this is for one iteration. But as you know, we have given the value of k, which you are supposed to run a loop over that number of times. So that's why here we have written a for loop where I'm passing the value of k, which is nothing but the number of iterations that we have to perform. And inside this, I'm calling this function. So now let's say if the value is given 3, so this function will run 3 times and it will update that array. So if the value is given as 5 or anything else, so it depends like how many times this function will look like. And once we're done with that, so once we're done, we're going to get the array and we have to pass the indexes values as well, right? So we are going to get the values at a given indices. So this is nothing but a less comprehension. So we are going to iterate over the indices that we have, and based on that, we will return the value of that. So here we have, let's say, indices of 0 and 1. So it will pick array of 0 and it will pick array of 1. So this is like writing a less comprehension is like converting like 3 to 4 lines of Python code into a single. So if I have to show this, so basically you have to just we are just accessing this instead of writing in a indentation and everything. We are just writing that in a single line. So this will store in a result, and we will get the return as a result of this entire function that we have for the right circular rotation. Alright, so basically inside inside function we have defined for this. This function will get called based on this loop condition, and it will return the value of this result. So now in terms of taking the input, assuming that we are solving this complete solution from the scratch, so we have to give the input of the array. So as you can see, this will take the input of series of numbers on which I'm going to apply the split method. So if the input that you give are based on space specific, like say space separated, so this will perform, this will split the each value on a space. Then each value will get converted into int because we are applying a map function. Map function takes one parameter of a function and one parameter which is like any input, or you can say iterable, on which you can apply this int function. And after you getting that, we are going to convert that completely into a list, so which will give us the array. And then the second value that we have for like k, so which will basically take the number of rotations. And then for the indices, we have to take the input from the user and convert that into a list that we have. And after that, we are going to call this function here with respect to the parameters that we have taken this from the user and here, and it will print the result, whatever the result that this function will result. Alright. So now let's get the values from the question that we have seen, and let's feed those values to this code, and let's see. Alright, so here we have 79432, and let's run this code. So here I will have to put first, I will write a clear. Alright, so now what I do is exit and let's execute here. Alright, so what is the input? 79432, 7 space 9 space 4, then we have 3 space 2, and number of rotations that we have 3, and at what index position we want the values, which are 0 and 3. So again, I have to write this values as space separated 0 and 3. So this is what the output that we have, the list in terms of these two values. Alright, so Alright, so that's how you can basically solve this, and you can feed another input as well to this same code, and you can check the output. And again, like the previous example, I've also solved this question in different programming language as well. So this time we have the solution in Java. So you can, I will pause the screen for a time. So maybe I'll just put this code like this. So you can pause the video and understand what the code is trying to do here. So this is nothing but the same that we have solved in terms of the Python. So once you understand the logic, then it will be easier to convert that into a code. So let's just have a look at this and try to write it on your own, and also you can solve this in C++ as well. And let me know that code for Java and C++ in the comment section. All right. So now that's it for this questions. And as you know, just on a final note, I want to just tell you that the top 3 commenters on this video are going to get the Prepinsta Prime subscription for the free. So do let us know that which of the companies that are hiring in your college, and if you want more this kind of coding questions. So we'll come up with this kind of videos. And last, more than 30 plus companies are going to hire this placement season. So make sure check all the links from the description and follow us on all these channels, and do not forget to follow this YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so that you will get more such videos on coming days. All right, that's it. So until next time, see you. Bye bye.